Alright, guys, welcome to another installment of Premier Esports Academy's web series. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the last one we had. So, this week we're going to be talking about a couple different mindsets in order to really make sure we're improving efficiently and achieving a consistent performance. So the three mindsets that we're going to be talking about are a training mindset, a scrim mindset, and a competition slash performance mindset. Now, monitoring these three mindsets are going to be super important and play a very specific role at specific times. So I want to go through these and make sure that you guys as players, as teams, are addressing these three different situations and making sure you're getting the most out of your training sessions and your competitive play sessions. So, the first mindset that we're going to talk about today is going to be the training mindset. Now, the training mindset is actually it's probably the most difficult one out of the three we're going to talk about today. That's because it involves a really honest look at your own skill. It takes a lot of self-reflection to be able to really hone in on this training mindset. So, with the training mindset, we're going to be taking a really judgmental look at your overall play styles, and you have to really take a look at what your area for improvements are. So, I don't like to use the term weaknesses, but it's basically what we're taking a look at is what's going to be the most efficient way to improve is to focus on those areas of lesser strengths. So the first step to getting into the training mindset is taking a good look at your overall play and identifying those specific skills, tactics, mechanics, whatever it is that needs work. Now, a really great way to do this is by reviewing past VODs and videos of you playing and videos of, not only past competitions but past training sessions as well. Now, when we take a look at this and we identify a skill, we really want to make sure we're breaking down that skill as much as possible. So let's take the example of accuracy in a first-person shooter. So accuracy can even be broken down a little further. It depends on what game you're playing and how much statistics the game's willing to supply you. But it's a really great way to, it's a good skill to just base this whole concept off of. So let's go with accuracy. Now we could break down accuracy even further. Let's say we're playing Overwatch. We could break down accuracy into terms of headshots as well. It's a little tougher to break down. There might be some stats in there that are critical shots, things like that we might be able to look into. But let's focus on accuracy as a skill that we need to improve. So what we want to do is we want to determine ways to improve our accuracy. Now, why this is one of the most difficult ones is not only the self-reflection piece, but we also have to drop an ego. We have to drop the ego and say, hey, look, this training session, this isn't meant to be about wins and losses. I really want to identify a skill and improve on a specific skill. So the human brain actually isn't as good at multitasking as we'd all like to think it is. So we want to make sure that we're sitting down and we're super focused on improving that one skill. In this example, it's going to be accuracy. So, whether I win or whether I lose, the one thing that I really care about is, am I more accurate than my last game? So, making sure that we're taking a look, we're writing it down, we're keeping track of our accuracy throughout the training session on a day-to-day basis and making sure that we're really addressing that one specific skill. So it's really a focused effort to improve one specific skill. You have to really make sure you're putting all of your mind and all of your dedication into that one particular skill, and then once we feel comfortable, we can move on to another skill in another training session. So, winning is not the outcome goal here. It's improving this skill that we really want to make sure that we're focusing on. So, with that in mind, I'll give you a couple action items. This is what I want out of you guys when you're getting into a training session, a training mindset. The first is going to be drop the ego. Let it go at the beginning. Say to yourself, hey, this isn't about wins or losses. This is about improving the skill. So then create a goal and then plan out what your training session is going to look like. So how long you're going to be focused on different skills. Whether you're setting up custom games, make a really solid plan. And then go ahead and take risks. Get out there, try new things, try new sensitivities, things like that. In the example of accuracy training, try new sensitivities, play around a little bit, and know that you might see some decrements in performance off the bat. But if if you have to take a half a step back to take 2 steps forward, then we're willing to do that, right? Focus. After take risks, we want to focus. We want to make sure that we're super focused on the task at hand. We have our goal in front of us. We know the skill that we want to train. So now we want to focus on improving it. Another one is to make sure you're having fun. Make sure you have fun training. If you're not having fun training and playing the game, it's going to be very difficult to finish out those training sessions and to want to plan more training sessions in the future. Then, once your training session is done, we want you to reflect on that training session. Say what went well, what didn't go so well, what are we going to do for next time, what do we need to improve on, what do I want to see my accuracy at during my next training session, things like that. And then reset your goals. Make sure you take a good look at the goals that you set out in front of you and reset them as appropriately. So whether you need to crank up the accuracy, maybe you need to tone it down and make it a little more achievable, things like that. Make sure we're really reflecting on those goals and setting good ones for the future. So that brings us to our next mindset. The next mindset I want to talk about is Scrim Mindset. Now, Scrims are something that every team should be doing. It's really important for the development of individual and team play. It gives you a good comparison of your team or your individual skills and compares it against an established team. So that's really important because, we don't want to just be a team of pub stompers. We want to make sure that our strats, our mechanics are good enough to play against very well established teams. That way, when it comes to tournament play and when it comes to playing in organized matches, that we're not just getting blown out by these other established, really good teams. So the goal for having this scrim mindset is, we want to try new strategies and refine the skills that we've been working on in the training mindset. But, we want to make sure that we're testing out these new scrims, testing out these new mechanics, these new skills in a structured setting. So, wins, much like the training mindset, are not the ultimate goal of scrims. But it is important to manage and play well. We still have to perform well during scrims. Otherwise, the teams that we're playing, if we're just playing BS comps and BS strats, then, they're not going to want to scrim us again. And having consistent scrim partners is so, so important. It really, like I said, it helps you refine your skills and make sure that you are playing at a high level and not just becoming a bunch of pub stompers. So, it takes that same letting go of your ego and saying, look, if we lose in this scrim, it's not a big deal. We're still practicing and refining our strats and skills and mechanics. So, not getting discouraged if we're losing in scrims. But again, we want to make sure that we are playing very competitively so that the team that we're scrimming against is getting value out of this scrimmage as well. So that's going to be very important. Now, one thing that I do have to caution is when we're playing or when we're scrimming against teams that we may see in the very near future, we're running the risk that they're going to learn our tricks, they're going to learn our strategies, they're going to learn our mechanics. So this is something that we have to monitor and make sure that we take into account as we're scrimming these other teams. Sometimes scrimming teams that might be in a different league or maybe overseas that we don't see as often is very beneficial. So scrims can also be used as a tool to build good relationships with other teams, other organizations, Building good relationships with other teams in the community and different organizations is always a good thing. It leaves room to schedule future scrims and get that future exposure. That's really going to help you out when preparing for big tournaments and things like that. So my action items for the Scrim Mindset is if your team's not scrimming already, start. Discord and Slack are great ways to kind of help get involved and find different scrims. So make sure you're joining community boards, community discords, community Slack channels, things like that. And go in, have fun, make friends, build good relationships, and work on the strats that you want to play in future competitions that you want to make sure work. So now the third mindset I want to talk about is a competition or performing mindset. So this is where we get to really display and celebrate the skills that we've learned. Now, the competition and performing mindset is going to be reserved for matches, tournaments, high-level competitions, things like that, where we really need to perform at our best. And there is a decent amount on the line. We don't have as much room to take big risks. We're not there to learn new skills, make new calls, make drastic roster changes. It's really to celebrate the skills that we've learned and to display the skills that we've learned in our training and our scrim mindsets. Now, it's where challenge meets opportunity. I mean, competitions where you get to really perform. It's always challenging, but it's an opportunity to really show off and again to celebrate those skills that were not easy to attain. Now, the competition mindset is best executed when you're matching your perceived skills to your perceived competition. Now, that could be a little confusing at first, but in a sense, it's making sure that we're setting appropriate goals to either, not get bored if we're playing a team that we're substantially better than, not get complacent, and then to also not get frustrated and go into a match that we feel that the team might be better than us, that we're not just automatically defeating ourselves. So we can reset goals and say, for a team that we know we're going to blow away. Let's talk in first person shooter again. So let's say Overwatch. If we think we're really going to blow this team away, we might want to say like, okay, we're going to win every team fight. Moving the payload, or we're gonna win 75% of the team fights moving the payload. We're gonna not let them even cap a point in an assault map. We're gonna run in, we're gonna take, and then continue through and 3-0 the other team. So resetting those goals to make sure we're not like, oh, this is going to be so easy. I can't wait. We're going to go and smoke this team. It's not even a match. We've all been there where we really feel that we're going to outplay this other team and really perform better than this other team. And turns out they come in and just smoke us. It's because we're sitting back thinking that, this is an easy one, no-brainer. So that's going to be really important. And then, on the other side of things where we feel a little bit outmatched, we could say, okay, cool, I want to take this to 1-1 by taking the first map, or we're just going to take the first map. All we need is the first map, and then the rest will carry through. You can build that momentum and things like that. So adjusting those goals to, really set to where you believe your perceived level of skill is to your perceived challenge. And that's a little bit more of a deeper concept, and feel free to reach out if there's any questions with that one, how to adjust goals to get the most out of the game. So, like I said, the goal of a competitive mindset is not to learn new skills. It's to know what your strengths are and to execute them well. To really take what we've learned, what we've developed from the training and the scrim mindsets, and really go out and perform at the highest level you possibly can. So, a couple quick action items that I want to recommend for the competitive mindset is the first one is develop a proper warm-up routine. And your warm-up routine, you want that to be consistent and something that you can take with you to different places. So, you want to be able to use that at a LAN in California, and a LAN in Korea. You want to be able to make sure that no matter where you are, you can use this pre-performance routine to get you in that competitive mindset. And then the next action item is to make sure you're doing your research. Make sure if you know who's going to be in that tournament. If there's VODs out there, definitely take a look at them. See what kind of strats they're running. See what kind of compositions they're running, and see how you can best counter them. So the warm up routine is going to be absolutely super important. A lot of people like to use music. A lot of people have different games that they play to warm up that'll kind of get their mechanics going again, but not necessarily the game that they're about to play. Just because, you know, sometimes coming in fresh is really helpful. So it's a case by case basis, your warm up routine. And that's something that performance psychology specialists can really work with players and teams to help develop a strong pre-performance routine that's going to get you out of the everyday life mindset into a competitive mindset, saying, "Hey, look, now is the time to perform. Now's the time to leave outside problems, outside drama, outside emotions at the door, and come in ready to play and ready to play at our best." So again, those are the three mindsets that I think are really, really important in terms of playing at a very high level. We have the training mindset, the scrim mindset, and the competitive or performance mindset. So make sure before you sit down at your computer, check in with yourself and or a console. Definitely don't want to leave my console guys out there. So make sure we're checking in with ourselves, saying, okay, cool. What what is the goal of this session? What mindset should I be in right now? Is it the training mindset? Is it the scrim mindset? Or am I competing? Make sure you have that in place and go through the checklist of what you need to do for each different mindset, and make sure that you are focused on whatever the goal or the task at hand is for this session that you're going to sit down and you're going to play. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys on the mindsets that I think are very important. Um, you know, make sure we're addressing them, and make sure that we are properly maintaining and executing them. So, again, thank you for stopping by. We really appreciate it. Feel free to shoot me a follow at dims_esports on Twitter. Feel free to shoot me any questions, comments, things that you want to see in future episodes, and I will absolutely be sure to address them. So, for now, that's it. Thanks for stopping by.